guys wanted to... Let me make sure I'm not blasting you guys out with my music here. There we go. So you guys wanted to kind of see a little bit about how I do the frickin' mission making. So I figured I'd just kind of live stream it, and maybe later I'll do a time lapse of it. But you can expect lots of contemplative breathing, clicking, and occasional forgetfulness as I wander off to pace around the room thinking about what to do next. So the next section of the campaign takes place in Zargabad, so let's start there. And in fact, since this is going to be more about mission making than gameplay, I might just switch it to just capture my right monitor. Alright, cool. So now you're basically just seeing whatever's on my right monitor, so I can bring up, you know, all my text documents and all that shit, and y'all can see kind of as I'm working on stuff what it looks like from my perspective as well. Uh-oh. Okay, cool. I don't need you. Nope. Go away. Go away. Alright. So the first thing I always like to do when I start a new mission is I'll basically just kind of start looking at the map. I'll kind of pick sort of a terrain texture that I'm looking for in my head. Like, do I want this to sort of be more open with woods? Do I want it to be, you know, hilly without a whole lot of trees? And, you know, I'm pretty familiar with the maps, so generally when I have an idea in my head, I'll just be like, oh, I know exactly where to make this mission. But sometimes I will literally just fly around like this in Eden, just looking at the terrain, just thinking about it, just wondering what kind of adventure could I put there. In this case, though, before I even go touch the template, I'm thinking, so this whole story is kind of this drive north from the far south, and in the story we are coming out of the mountains, which are to the south, riding up the road, and you know we're about to kick in the door to Zargabad. So what I'm looking for right now is kind of like where, if I were a military commander and I were trying to set up a rally point in some protected terrain, where would I want, you know, my troops to kind of assemble before they get too ahead of themselves? And I'm thinking this plot right here might be pretty good. It's not perfect, obviously, but it's a little bit sheltered. And it keeps a little bit of terrain between me and some of the first areas of interest on the map without just kind of going off the edge of the map, which I suppose is an option, but it always looks a little silly. So yeah, I might start us off there. So let's see. Let's say we start around there, and what I'm going to do really quick is just kind of build almost like a proof of concept for myself, just to see how it feels. And now that we're out of the mountains, let's get some nice cold overcast, a little bit of fog, but I want it to have a high decay. So what what we'll do is basically the lower the decay, the more evenly spread the fog will be. So like really, really low decay will give you something like that, and higher decay will make it more pronounced between the high and low areas of terrain. So here, I'll show you. So if I crank the fog up and set the decay real high, we get this cool effect where the fog kind of is only in the low areas. You know, once you get above it, you can kind of go, oh, okay, cool. But I don't want that for this leg of the campaign. I want it to be a little clearer. So I'm going to set just a little fog, just enough to give it a haze. Maybe 1% decay. Yeah, you know, that might do the trick. But when you set the overcast this high, you can hear the thunder already starting. I don't necessarily want that. So I'm going to manually override the rain and the lightning to be off. But I'll leave the wind automatic so that we get some good blustery, cold wind kind of thing going. And leave that unchanged. No need to fuck around with that. So yeah, so it looks very similar to the way the rest of the campaign's been looking. And to make it even more so, I'm going to throw down a post-process filter for Mediterranean. That'll give it that bluish hue that really kind of cements that wintry feeling, and it'll also make the shadows a little more pronounced. When I do a test of this, I'll show you kind of what it feels like. As for just a little more. Cool. As for you know, Op4 and all that, what I'm thinking is that this mission should probably, given how fast we move in tanks, and this is still something me as a mission maker, I'm still just trying to kind of wrap my head around. We move really fucking fast as tanks, and we bring a lot of firepower, so we tend to resolve our encounters very, very quickly. So this all might fit in one mission. And what I'm thinking I want to do is I kind of want to turn Shabazz into a little kind of a fortified outpost. What that's going to do is, by making it a small, easily overcome obstacle, that's going to set kind of the attitude for the rest of the mission. So I'm thinking I'll turn this into a pretty heavily fortified little area with plenty of bad guys, and because it's kind of isolated and in the open, and there's lots of options, you know, a commander can send troops up on the hill, a commander can send guys out to flank, we can drop smoke right here and just rush up on them. We're going to have plenty of options. It's kind of a playground for us to roll in there and just kick ass, and that's going to make it really you know, kind of a sample, a vertical slice of what the rest of the mission's going to be. So I'll set that up there in Shabazz for us to kind of steamroll, and then once that's done, that is going to be a sample of kind of what I'm thinking I want to make. Yeah, I think I want to make Yarum something similar. Let's check lines of sight just to make sure I'm not going to get too much interference. Yeah, I don't think so. So maybe the odd unit might see him, but not too much interference. I'm going to ignore the airfield. And I think what I might do is I think I might make, I don't know, I might import the market day stuff and just kind of have it here so that when we come rolling into town, it's still there, kind of connecting tissue to that that previous mission. I think, though, the real objective for the... Yeah, I think I'm going to make this base the real objective, which means this hill is going to be a very important fortified position. It's going to be kind of the real challenge. There's going to be tons of firepower coming off this hill because the enemy commander is going to want to defend this base from attack. And then I might even throw kind of a back line in one of these hills, but I don't want it to be too dramatic of a drop, otherwise it just feels unrealistic, because why would you put it up on the very peak? That's just asking for trouble. And plus, you know, a single ATGM in the wrong spot, he can kind of pew 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 and hit tanks all the way down there. I don't want that to happen. So yeah, this might all be one mission. I'm thinking I kind of want to balance it in my head so that it works for maybe a light mechanized squad. So maybe like one guy driving an IFV with a couple of AI crew, and then a couple of guys packed in the back, and then maybe 2 tanks, shrug, maybe. And then the idea is that it's going to be a little more kick in the door type stuff. So let's just do a little drive around, and we'll see how it feels just in single player. Just see what it looks like, see how it feels kind of in our head as we imagine the scenario. Alright. So first let's check weather. I don't see any rain. Yeah, so here, I'll show you what the post-process filter does for you in case you haven't played with it much. Maybe I'll make it sunny, just to really drive home the difference. Let's see how that feels. But yeah, here, so environment, post-process, I'll turn it off, and you can see, it's, you know, that red, that red hue comes right back. And it feels a little warmer here than it does up in the mountains. But then you got this, which, because it kind of cancels out a lot of those reds, all of a sudden makes it a little cooler. Obviously, if you stop and think about it, you're like, wait, there's like fucking leaves on the trees. How's this winter? But don't ask too many questions, alright? It's ARMA. And then, let's see how it feels with some sunshine, actually. Yeah, see, that feels too summery. To me, it doesn't feel like it's cold out. And actually, let's make sure that, see, this is May. Let's set February. Sure. So we're not going to notice a whole lot of lighting change, but let's see if... Oh, whoops. It's still really hot. Actually, I wonder if it's going to get colder in the winter. Let's find out if we just, like, set it here in the clock. Because I think off the top of my head it was like February 10th was the last day we just played. Let's see. Ah, see, there we go. Now we're hovering around 30 degrees Fahrenheit. Alright, that's much better. So... yeah, so right about here, you can potentially come into contact with the enemy and be all... Well, that reminds me, I gotta change the tracers to red config. Gotta look into that. So, from the commander seat, I can just be all, alright, you know, bypass this little rocky outpost here, ruins even. So yeah, here we are, the outskirts of Shabazz. Using good mechanized infantry tactics, I'm going to punch a hole in the wall. Just roll up. Poof. Smoke screen. And then, right about here, the infantry would disembark. They're going to hop out and go run in under that smoke screen while I keep my guns quiet. And now, once they're out from behind me, I'm going to back off. That way, I can provide overwatch, stop the enemy from flanking them. Keep them off rooftops, that sort of thing. Yeah. All right. So that's feeling pretty good. Just looking for anything else around me that seems interesting, but nope. I think that's feeling pretty good. All right. So let's save this as something here. Alright, so I'm not going to get too much into detail because Alive is about to do the most of the work for me, but let's get a little bit going here. I'm just going to use some prefab bunkers. Oh, I see, it's going that way. So let's just throw some prefab bunkers down in some inconspicuous spots. I like to generally snap to surface and transform to normal. Yeah, got a little clipping, that's okay. It's never going to be perfect. Let's throw... You know what? Screw it. This... Oh, that's not it at all. That's not what I was expecting. Hey, there we go. That's what I was expecting. So let's put this bad mamma jamma right here. Surface, orient to C, normal. And what that'll do is that'll set it so that it matches the horizon rather than the contours of the terrain. It just kind of gives it a little more purposeful feel when you're looking around it. You do get some janky stuff where, you know, occasionally stuff will, you know, just be a little bit above the terrain. Like, I wonder if I'm going to get it here. Yeah, so like if you look at this, see how it's kind of not really into the ground anymore. You can fix that just by turning off ground clipping, picking the object, and just lowering it until you're happy. It's never going to be perfect, and sometimes those little details like that just kind of have to get by you. Sometimes there's just no winning. But looks impressive, you know. Looks like you've got a little bit of a outpost starting from that angle. So I think I'm going to add 1, 2, 1, 2, maybe one more there. So let's see what we got. Am I going nuts? There. Oops. Forgot to turn you all back on. There you are. There you go. Oh, same. You know, I might just let that guy. That looks terrible. Let me just see what happens if I just move him entirely. Yeah, fudge it. That looks pretty good. Maybe I'll just do one on each side then. There we go. Kind of a little hard to see. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the Pakistan National Army. That's who we're fighting this whole campaign. I'm just going to grab a couple turrets. Now Alive should automatically garrison. Yeah, the heavy one. Garrison troops inside these weapons. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a couple down. And well, I don't know if that's going to see over. Yeah, that might not actually see over that. Wonder if I cheat a little. That might work. Yeah, that might work. Just enough. And then... Oops. Might have if I turn that back on. I'm like, why isn't it snapping to the terrain anymore? Because I turned it off, dumbass. There we are. And one of the tricks is you generally want to put your turrets a little further back inside the bunker. It's very tempting to do stuff like, you know, this, so it kind of hangs off the edge to maximize the angle. But realistically, at least from when I've had the opportunity to kind of set these up, that isn't always the best move. One, it really limits the weapon's ability to kind of turn an angle. Because, like, you know, if I had to, you know, realistically, if I had to, say, angle this weapon to fire at targets over there, I'm going to have to stand, over this, you know. So in ARMA, you can get away with it, but, I don't know, I just kind of default to doing stuff like that. Because then also that makes it easy for the players. If they want to hop on it, they can turn it right around, turn it against the enemy, and go to town like it's a Rambo movie. Let's put something a little different over here. Where? And maybe I won't put anything at all. Oh, you know what? I'll just put you right. Nah. Maybe I won't put anything in there. Tops of buildings are generally good places to put stuff when you want it to be visible. But if you actually want it to be like a proper ambush, some of the best places to put them like static weapons, are like, give yourself a ring of sandbags right here in the corner and just have it chill here. And then when people come into that area there to maybe assault that bunker, they get chewed up. There's an entire art and science that I am not a master of to setting up defensive positions, and basically one of the fundamental principles is you always want to have overwatch weapons specifically to ambush assaulting forces on your strongholds. So you can kind of use like an oblique position where like you can take a whole bunch of Hescos, like let's say this was 100 meters away over there, you could set up a bunch of Hescos right here, just a nice tall wall of them, and then have a bunker here that just faces that way, so that when this position comes under attack, you've got a position that is completely shielded from fire from the front that just protects there, and it's really devastating to the attackers. It's kind of World War I type shit. But I'm thinking I'm gonna throw... What else do I want? Is there a mortar? Yeah, give me a mortar. Let's throw a mortar down. Sure. And... yeah, let's throw a couple of MG nests down. If they get used, they get used. If they're empty, they're empty. Whatever. And yeah, fuck it. One in here in the brushes. Again, up close, you're like, how could you miss that? But when you're back here and you're just peeking around, looking for stuff to see, you might not always see that kind of stuff, So it can make a big difference. Alright, so what else I'll do is when I set up a live, I'll make this just a really strongly preferred area. Now, do I want to have like a cool little headquarters? Yes I do. Let's do it. Let's have some radio antennas coming out the top so that everyone goes, ah, that looks like some kind of HQ building. So, make sure that's pointed directly up. Let's have, what else could we throw in here? Let's get... let's put... perfect. One of these somewhere. Let's put it on the table. There we go. And... I happen to know the... what is the name of it? It's like... Map City or something. Map for briefing. Here it is. Poof. Yeah, just something to throw up on the wall. There we go. Do not use for targeting. Oops. So basically just as the players walk in, there's just going to be like a moment where you're like, oh hey, this is clearly some kind of, command and control center. And maybe I'll throw a first aid box down as well. And watch this. Advanced. And oops, even though that should really be a red crescent, whatever. And voila, just kind of just like that, we've got ourselves a small space that with, I'm going to put like 6 items in here, suddenly goes from being a living room to sort of a, a little command center. What other shit can we throw in here real quick that would just kind of feel right for a command center? I don't know. Yeah, I can't really think of much anything that would really drive home what it is. I think between the antenna... oh, you know what? A flag. Let's look for a flag. Attack stand. I'll throw it up on something here. And attack stand. Boom, there it is. So the easy answer would be to like put it up here on the radio tower. So maybe I'll do that. Keep it simple. Oops. I'm going to go to the different selector mode. You can just tap spacebar and change the way in which your cursor operates. So what I'm doing is I'm basically just taking the extra second to try to just tuck that flagpole, clip it into... Can I? There it is. Just clip the flagpole as much as possible into the radio pole so that it gives kind of the illusion almost that, yeah, see, you know it's there so you'll notice it, but when you just take a quick glance at it, it just looks like it's a regular old frickin' flag hanging off a radio tower. And so just so I don't get any weird issues, I'm going to make that indestructible. Enable damage false. So now even if it gets blown up or whatever, it's not going anywhere. Alright, cool. So that's coming along nicely. So, got ourselves a little command and control center there. Let's go to Yarm. See what we got. Yarm might be a little boring. There's not a whole lot going on here. This might be better just as, not so much a stronghold, but just kind of a little outpost or something. So, you know what I'm thinking I'm just going to throw some roadblocks down. There we go. Yeah, so just throw a couple of roadblocks down just to kind of give the feeling that the military's in control here. Without actually spending a whole lot of... Perfect. That's perfect. Without spending a whole lot of time trying to build some kind of, you know, grand construction. Yep, and I think what I'll do is I'm going to throw a turret on the back of this guy just to screw things over. Turrets. Let's put, you know what? I feel like being a dick. Let's put an ATGM. And that'll be one of the sit and shoot types. Actually, I want to make sure that's crewed. I want that to be a real threat. So I'm going to crew it. And then I'm going to throw some sandbags around it. Sandbag round. Poof. Look at that. You know what, actually, let's do it like this. Quick and dirty. Look at that. And now, to advancing vehicles. You might not even see it on first pass, but... Right. Anything coming along this road is going to be under threat. Let's see. Maybe not so much from there, but certainly anything approaching the other checkpoint is going to get lit up from the side. So that's kind of nice. I like that. And maybe, kind of as I was talking before, that oblique concept, maybe I'll add something here. Like, you know what? Let's add an AT gun just to ping some rounds off the side of the... Oh, that's right. They don't work like that anymore. But here, we can add a one of these bad mamma jammas. Oops. And, there we go. That'll ping some rounds off the sides of whatever tanks come along. And let's squish that down a little. I said, let's squish that down a little. My gosh. There we go. Squish it down. There we go. And that'll catch any ricochets that come its way. Keep that operator alive just a little longer. Alright, so I don't want to spend too much time on Yarm. I think I'm just going to add a couple of dudes, let it be. And then for the city itself, I'm probably going to leave basically untouched except for that market day stuff. I might just throw some of those down. And then up here is going to kind of be the... I don't want to say the finale, but certainly close to it. Yeah, I'm thinking the villa is a pretty popular spot to put shit. I'm trying to think of a reason why we'd want to fight our way through it, though. Because, you know what, that's a great kind of a set piece. So I'm wondering if maybe we made a rule that, maybe if we made a rule that the villa has to remain intact or something like that, or, you know, or even, what if I just make it indestructible? Check this. Edit, terrain object, boom. And then enable damage, no, but how about I make it a little bit damaged? How much more damage can I get away with? Oh, it might not show it here. Whatever. But, so yeah, let's fortify this little guy a little bit. I distinctly remember a campaign where we were using this as our home base, and maybe that'll make a comeback. I don't know. You know, we've been talking about making that insurgency mission, and I'm starting to wonder if Zargabad isn't the perfect terrain for it, because it's small, so that if you know, you're not miles away from all your friends. So I don't know. I'll think about it. How do I want to fortify it? I could set it up more like a camp with just kind of clusters of support buildings, or I could fortify it like it's a... Well, you know what? If I'm going to fortify it, I'm going to want to cut down these trees so that it's got clear line of sight. Debating. Or do I just want to make it an objective? I think making this an objective with something squishy and soft inside could be a lot of fun. So I'm thinking, like, if I put a guy in here, you know, someone you have to go arrest, and then fill the place up with his personal bodyguard, that could be a lot of fun. So I think I'm going to do that. Ah, you know who? I know just the person. So let me bust out Market Day here. Alright. Where'd you go, buddy? Yeah, here you are. This guy. What's his name? Let's give him a name. Identity. Boom. You are Kareem Spanta. Really? Spanta? Whatever. Alright. So let's... cut. Okay, cool. So I just cut it successfully. I'm gonna go to here. I'm going to now paste on original location. I don't know where it is. So here, edit, paste on original location, boom, and it poops it out where it was originally. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove all the civilians, because we're not going to need them clogging up the game and making everything laggy. I'm going to delete these objectives and triggers because we're not playing the game. In fact, since I'm not using any triggers or anything right now, I can delete all of this. And then... Alright, cool. So, got some nice market day shit set up. Couple of vehicles around, not too much. Let's get rid of the IDAP shit. I think they would have pulled out after one of their people got killed. And we can shrink this. Actually, fuck it, we'll leave it. But yeah, so now if players happen to go past where market day was, they'll see it deserted and quiet. And that's, I don't know, I think that's kind of cool. Now that guy, who we just saved as a story character, where'd you go? Mr. Spanta. Come here, Spanta. Alright, now we don't want... Oh. Boy, you are just all kinds of jacked up in this lighting. Are you still Korean? You're not. You're Latif Habibiz. That's a way better name, honestly. That is... Oh, wow. That's a way better name. There it is. And then where'd Spanta go? What a stupid name. I'm probably saying it wrong. That's probably why it sounds stupid. Alright, so... You are a little different, so I'm going to give you national policemen to protect you. So let's set some of these guys up. And, oh yeah, let me make it so that you are kneeling. And let's make it so you won't run away. Oh, there it is. Path. Boom. And let's set up some nice ambushes for our heroes as they come up the stairs and whatnot. Right, couple of these guys. Right, a couple of them will be dangerous, a couple of them are going to be, you know, more just, they don't want to be seen running away kind of guys. So just some random dudes. And that's also not counting what all live puts up here as well. Got a soft spot for the way these Pakistani guys look. It's kind of cool. And let's put a marksman on the roof. Fuck it. Come here. With your fucking bolt-action British Lee Enfield rifle. Alright, whatever. You will die. It doesn't matter. I could staff like all of these little things, but honestly, I don't feel like it. How many's in a perfect? No, excuse me. Let's throw you down. Cool. Alright. Doesn't need to be perfect. They will make plenty of noise and get fucking killed in the revolution. Cool. And let's throw down a nice looking car. See if there are any nice looking cars. Kinda nothing too fancy or nothing too complicated, but the idea is just kind of implying that it's the important dude's car. Give him a go-kart. Oh, you know what? I kind of like the idea of there being a couple of black trucks, right? And then where's his car? Yeah, there we go. Kind of give the again, nothing too fancy, just the implication that he gets, you know, special shit when everyone else in the country has garbage. Sure. Alright, there's gonna be plenty of dudes to fight through. We'll take a lot of casualties on that because we really suck at CQB. Nah, don't even bother with that. Save the frames. So let's just make it so that all the guys over there just won't go anywhere. Boom. So now they won't leave. The rest of the guys might run around a little bit, but those guys will stay put. Alrighty. So, let me take a swig of water and just kind of recap what we've done here. Alright. So, what we've got is... we're going to start over here. We're going to push up into this area here. And the reason we have to take it is because... yeah, there's a enemy command and control center here that we need to neutralize. So we'll knock it the fuck out. Then we need to punch through this. Now what's stopping us from bypassing it? And just kind of going around it? Maybe it's just not our job. I don't know. I'm trying to think it through. I don't want to railroad us too hard, but at the same time, it could be a little fun. Maybe there's just more fortifications over here. Yeah, let's do it. Huh. Huh. Most of the time that'll snap to the roof of those guys. Maybe not. No big. If we set you up right there. Actually, that's a damn good spot. I like it. That's sneaky beaky. That's gonna kill somebody. Oh yeah, that's sneaky. Look at that. Like it. And let's throw T-72 with ERP. I guess it's ERA, my bad. I always, in my head, for some reason, in my head it's always early reactive battle armor, so I won't keep wanting to say like ERBA, but it's not, it's ERA. And let's drain the fuel out of it so it doesn't go anywhere. Rip. Done. Now it's a turret. Look at that. Actually, I'm gonna copy you and put a couple of y'all down. Copy. Paste. And then or you know what, really just that. Yeah. Oops. There we go. Slightly smaller target to hit. And let's throw one in the bushes here. And nothing fancy, but from a distance it might be a little harder to spot, especially with the if the engines are cold. Not a whole lot to silhouette it. Cool. Alright. Let me head back to the first mission, because I remember there were some good minefields I made. So I'm just going to copy those minefields and use them to kind of make obstacles that... Oh, go away. Oh, whoops. Oh, I forgot about the training mission. That was a nice one. And then we'll use those minefields to basically make effectively impassable areas. Out on the flanks, just to kind of funnel the players in a little. Oh my god, nothing exists. What is life? Yeah, come here. Copy. I know, before I leave this, let me make sure I got it. Ah, see? I only got the... Yeah, see, so here. Let's just delete you. What I'm doing is I'm cutting rather than copying, because I can cut, or at least in theory I can... Ah, you know what it is? I have the mines on a locked layer. So if I... To stop me from accidentally fucking them all up once I've... There it is. And then Control Z undoes my last action, so it puts them right back after I cut them, but the cut content still stays in my clipboard. So basically I get a kind of a visual indicator that I've successfully cut something out of the cut something out rather than just press Control C and it just don't want to cooperate. So let's see about setting up some minefields. Yeah, let's just do it this way then. There's no rule that says how you have to do this. I'm just trying to do this in a way that maximizes the ability for me to just kind of copy paste it down a bunch and have it sort of make sense. Yeah. And so each one of these is, I think, 10. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Yeah, so that's 10 AT mines, each with a placement radius of 25 meters. So within that rough circle, there's going to be 10 anti-tank mines just kind of randomly placed. Not the most dense of fields, but I can also just do this. Copy, paste, 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 paste. And now, you know, there's a whole, there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now there's 50 more mines out there in that one little box. And then I can take this and kind of just start blip, blip, and suddenly we've got ourselves a minefield barrier, you know. Blip. And again, what's nice about minefields is they're not impassable, but you really don't want to go into them. Okay, and then of course, what's also nice about this design is I can just, now it won't, it's impossible for any mines to appear on that road, at least from these mines. Yeah, so there's a barrier there, and maybe we'll throw some down over here, just so we are not tempted to try to flank around. And then what I'll probably do is put up a kind of a cover map module so that it kind of squeezes the player in a little bit, and then just tell the players, hey, just for performance sake, don't go outside those lines, because you know, that's fair. I could set up some big complicated thing that automatically like teleports players, you know, back to the start if they wander too far outside the beaten path, but that gets really complicated. And frankly, it's kind of silly because sometimes you just need to dip outside 2 seconds, you know, because you're in a helicopter or some shit, you know. So rather than beat myself to death over it, I ain't gonna even bother. I'll just trust the players to be reasonable and play by the rules. So let's see what else we got. Honestly, that's starting to look pretty good. I think what I'm gonna do now is kind of just in my head, I'm gonna add a layer of maybe just some random roadblocks throughout town here. Not even manned ones, just like as if the civilians or you know, local militias just went kind of to town, just throwing some barricades up. Huh. It's in here. Where? Ah, here it is. So here, check it out. I can just go whip. Yeah, now a street's much more difficult to get down. So look at that. So throw that there, and I don't know. Throw a little junk here, and some. Oh, that's a big one. Maybe I'll take out the dirt hump and split this into 2. Again, it doesn't need to be super clean. That's not the point. Just enough to kind of throw a wrench in a plan, you know, if things are going a little too smoothly. the commander, you know, just do something a little different. And maybe what I'll do on top of that is maybe I'll put some IEDs or something in obvious places that tanks might try to get around. So let's do that. IED. Let's do urban IEDs with pressure plates. Let's do small ones mostly, so that yeah. I am not looking to make it too discreet. Mostly just there to complicate things. So if you're coming down the road and you're like, oh shit, roadblock, alright, no big, we'll just go around. Oh, IED. Well, fuck it, we'll go through the wall. We're so clever. Oh, IED. So that's kind of what I'm just going to do right here. Just anywhere there's roadblocks, just think, well, where might the enemy go to get around it? And again, it's not designed to be a showstopper. It's mostly just so that you see it, you go, the enemy's here, and maybe bring up your engineers, do a little engineering. That probably won't even stop anybody. I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck. Oh, no police station. Fuck it, I'll add some rubble. And it'll imply that it got blown up. No. Let's try ruin. I wonder if the police station has its own ruins. Or I'm starting to wonder, what if I does it what if I did this? Rip. And then I'm losing my voice again, dang it. Perfect. Let's throw you guys into a group together. Lock the group so you stop fucking with it. Where? There we are. Oh, no, I don't want to move. You dingus. There you go. Wunderbar. Alright, again, doesn't need to be perfect. It's just kind of there. Players who are attentive will remember it. Those who aren't, it's all good. Alright, we can see the minefield is all throughout here. Huzzah. Alright, I think the bones of this mission are just about ready. Let's go for a quick drive and see how some of those later obstacles feel. See if they're a little too sneaky beaky. Go away, go away. I really been doing this for over an hour? I need a life. Alright, I'm going to compress time just to make this go a little quicker. So that's Shabazz. Just flew past. There are no enemies there yet. Now I already know where the bad guys are, so let's just see if I can. Yeah. Wait for the thermals to warm up a little. Try white hot or black hot. Okay, cool. So I think we can just barely see the ATGM operator right there. Alrighty. Yeah, so 043024 043 024. So yeah, I'm right about there, and it's right over there. So we still got about 6 meters to close. Let's see if I can get to this cover over here before they schwack me. Moving in the open, but for the last leg, we might have to do it. Alright, cool. So let's see if that SPG does its job while I'm tearing these guys up. Ah! I think it just did it. What the hell he's doing. So yeah, that SPG did its not SPG, the cordless rifle did its job. Let's see if I can. There he is. No. Bad. See if I can't get his buddy. Where was he? He's so well hidden, I can't even find him. Alright, cool. I mean, he definitely hit us. Alright, so yeah, you know what? For about an hour's worth of work, I think we've got the bones of a pretty good mission right here. So I think I'm going to just save it and call it for today, and I'll work on it some more later. Alright, that was fun. Catch you guys later.